Sometimes all you had was your Bible and a flashlight in the woods and a sleeping bag. And I forgot the machine gun. You always have a machine gun next to you, too.
Okay.
Tate Christensen had it all mapped out. A doctorate, a clinic, a stable life. But something disrupted the blueprint. And instead of opening a practice...
And I got through chiropractic school and just felt like I was being called somewhere else. And again, didn't take long for people to realize there was a chiropractor in the fort, or the little, fort operating base or whatever. And next thing you know, I've got a sign outside of my tent that says, "Call for a chiropractic adjustment." And there's no good table out there for me to use at all. And I built a little chiropractic table out in the desert. And it was pretty popular out there.
That's awesome.
When people leave the military like myself, I have at least found that you're on your own. The militaries they'll tell you where to be, what to wear, when you can leave, and so on and so on. But you have to get out of the mindset of being told what to do. My work ethic is just work as if you're working for the Lord. And I think you can do that in any profession.
In your eyes, what makes Altoona Family Chiropractic stand out?
We are very involved and very caring about our patients. It's almost like a little social club sometimes. And sometimes I forget, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be helping you today, like we're not just here to talk and hang out.
All right, Tate, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I'm interested with your Army background. I asked Jeremiah this question the other day. Who would win in a fight, one gorilla or 100 men with no weapons?
One gorilla or 100 men?
Yeah, what do you think? What's your take?
So we asked this question a lot in the Army.
Okay.
Sitting around talking about who would win. I think I'd take the 100 dudes against one gorilla. Mm-hmm. Maybe even multiple gorillas at this point. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your theory?
I think you could swarm him. I think you just jump on him and just do the best you can. He's probably going to get a couple of your friends, but you just got to push on.
100 guys is a lot of guys.
100 guys is a lot of guys. They can do a lot. I've seen 100 guys do a lot of cool stuff.
Okay. What's the minimum amount of guys, you think?
Oof. That's a better question, I think. Maybe 25.
25?
25.
That's not very, that's a lot less.
Are we taking the average person, or are we taking, you pick your 25?
Army soldiers.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with 25.
Okay. And then normal guys?
Oh, man. Anyone off the street, maybe 35 to 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. So where did you just get back from?
So I've been in the Army for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. I spent the last 4 years with the 75th Ranger Regiment, but their 2nd Battalion in Washington State. So I've been a chiropractor the whole time. I've been doing chiropractic in Washington, but finally got back to my hometown in Altoona. So have to be home.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how did you get into Army, chiropractor? How did those things mix?
Yeah, kind of a reverse of what you'd usually think of as like a career path or where you go after high school. But went to college at UNI, got my biology degree, and then went on the path towards being a chiropractor, kind of the family business. Both my parents are chiropractors. And I got through chiropractic school and just felt like I was being called somewhere else. And I didn't know exactly what that meant for me. But I started praying about it and thinking, I just realized God was calling me to military service. And it didn't really make sense to anyone at the time. My parents thought it was a terrible idea. I had my doctorate in chiropractic, and they said, "Hey, you're going to go be a chiropractor. That's what you're going to do." And I said, "I think I'm being called somewhere else." So my wife, Jess, was very supportive and told me just to go for it. So next thing you know, I'm enlisting in the Army, going down to Fort Benning, Georgia, doing the whole thing, training for 11 months in the Army. But
so you got all the way through college, all the way through your doctorate program, and totally switched paths. Yeah,
I started looking around at other, veterans and people in the Army and realized that I could give something. I thought God was telling me to go do that, so that's what we did.
Yeah, cool. So where did you go right out of college? Where was basic? So you went into basic, is that right?
Yep. I was still in chiropractic school up in Minnesota, and I was talking to a recruiter in Minnesota, and he got it set up for me. And right after graduation, right after the ceremony, I went down to Fort Benning, Georgia for basic training. and infantry training.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What was that process like?
Oh man, that's interesting. It's kind of like everything's taken from you, and they just train you to be a soldier. So they have 22 weeks with you at basic training, just to show you all the stuff with the Army and kind of just make you fit the mold for a soldier. But after that, I went to Ranger selection, and then things kind of picked up into high gear there. And didn't take long for people to realize that I was a chiropractor, because I'd find some friends who were in aches and pains, and they'd kind of been bumped and bruised. And I was like, hey, don't tell anyone, but I can do some adjustments, chiropractically speaking, that'll help you out. And the next thing you know, I've got people yelling for me and got lines out the door late at night just to get adjustments. But yeah.
Out the door, at the barracks door?
Barracks, tents, out in the field, wherever. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what was the big difference between basic training and Ranger selection?
Basic is just for anyone coming into the military. So anyone coming in the Army goes through basic training. So you get like your basic infantry skills, basic tactics, kind of the indoctrination period and process. And then if you have the contract for it, if you want to volunteer for it, you go off to a Ranger selection. And so you go to the RASP program, where they can just fine-tune, filter down who they want. A lot of weeks spent doing push-ups, sit-ups, and running around and getting woken up in the middle of the night. It's a crazy time. But they start with about 160 people and whittle down to about 60 after 8 weeks.
Wow.
And it's a tough selection for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely rewarding to be a part of that group.
So then what responsibilities does that group have versus regular soldiers? Yeah,
so the Ranger Regiment is a part of the Special Operations. And so what they do is kind of a little more specialized types of mission sets or training. They do the airborne stuff. They do vehicle stuff. They do like raid tactics. So they're kind of just the elite force they put forward if they want to go do something specialized, I guess. So got a lot of meet really cool people and be a part of some cool things. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many tours did you, just the one or?
2 deployments.
2 deployments?
Yep.
Where did you go after? So was that after then Ranger selection?
Yes. Yeah. So RASP, and then you get put in your station. So I was up in Washington State. I was there for a couple of years, and then we got our deployment. So we went to the Middle East, and again, didn't take long for people to realize there was a chiropractor in the fort, or the little fort operating base or whatever. And next thing you know, I've got a sign outside of my tent that says "Call for a chiropractic adjustment." And there's no good table out there for me to use at all. So I talked to some of the Navy construction guys out there, and they let me use some of the spare wood they had. So I used a drill and a saw, and I built a little chiropractic table out in the desert. And it was pretty popular out there.
That's awesome. So you were the unofficial chiro of the group.
I would have loved to have been the official chiropractor, but just on an unofficial basis, yeah.
So how long were you out there on your first deployment?
I think I was there for 2 months. So a pretty quick one, yeah.
Gotcha. And then came back to Washington?
Yep, came back to Washington.
It's beautiful up there. I was out in Oregon.
It is.
This early February.
The combination of the trees and the mountains and the ocean is pretty awesome. We loved it out there.
What's the big, how far is Mount Hood from, I guess that's more Oregon, but.
Yeah, probably a couple hours from like the Seattle Olympia area.
Are there, what are kind of the landmarks of Washington State out there?
So Fort Lewis was between Olympia and Seattle, kind of about an hour from the coast. And then you also have Mount Rainier, which is the big mountain out there. So you can always you always know where east is because you just look off and see Mount Rainier and you're like, all right, there's east. Good to go. Nice. That actually helped a lot with training too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like life out in Washington?
The nature aspect, big fan. Love the nature, but as far as cities go, we didn't really go in cities very often. We kind of stuck to our little small town. We lived in Yelm, which is a nice little town, kind of like the Altoona area here a little bit. But we loved it there. We had some great friends, a good church, and we enjoyed the 4 years we were out there. Yeah. Yeah.
So, were you married at that point?
Yeah, I've been married to my wife Jess since college.
Since college. Yeah. So she moved out to Washington while you were.
No, we were we were already married for a couple years by that point. Yeah.
Yeah, but did she move
sorry.
out? Did she move out there with you?
Yep. Once the training was all over and I was allowed to bring my family where I was stationed, then she was out there with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what made you guys want to come back here?
All of our families in Iowa.
That's
what I always hear. Love the Iowa style of life, you know, kind of slow pace and just good people, you know, and we missed just friendly faces wherever we went. So,
right.
Yeah. Have you ever lived outside of Iowa before?
I lived in Colorado for a summer during an internship.
Okay.
That would probably be the only extended period of time besides college, which would be at UNI. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I would say the people of Iowa are just more genuine and just friendly and, you know, fun to be around. So.
Yeah. The mountains are fun to be around too.
That's true. Yeah, definitely.
So then when was your second deployment?
A little bit after that, just within a year, we went back again, just out to the Middle East again and spent some time in the desert. And I got to meet a lot of really cool people. Some like local people were interesting. And then also just some of who I would call like the Avengers of the U.S. military, like the guys you see on the movies.
Yeah.
Sometimes I thought I was a cool guy, but compared to these guys and everyone else, like they are the biggest and baddest and toughest. And the cool thing about them is they have a chiropractor on staff who they left at their home base. And they were hoping they could bring him along, but it just didn't work out for them. So when they found out that I was a chiropractor in the same place as they were all lining up too. And it was really cool to meet them and get to work with them and just kind of hear all their stories. And definitely cool people to be around.
Did you ever do any adjustments on locals out there?
No, I did not. The language barrier kind of made it hard when you're trying to put your hands on someone's neck. So I wouldn't try that.
No, not advised.
No.
Was being a chiropractor always the plan, you know, out of high school? That was kind of the direction you kind of knew you wanted to go. Was that because of the family business or other reasons?
I would say it was always a possible plan of mine. Out of high school, I thought I'm going to go to medical school. I'm going to go work in a hospital, things like that. And I always knew my parents were chiropractors and that was a very beneficial thing for our family, just being able to have them adjust us whenever we wanted to. But the farther I got into college, the more I realized I didn't want to work in a high-stress environment. I wanted to be able to have my own clinic, to work on patients with my hands, and I didn't want to get stuck just kind of prescribing things out to them a little bit. I wanted to be able to use my hands and my skills to help them feel better and to heal. And the more I just kind of went down that path, the more chiropractic fit perfectly with what I wanted.
Yeah. So when you decided to enlist, was that something that you didn't want to be a part of anymore, or just, you know, was God calling you to be, calling you to go serve for just a short period of time, or did you think that was going to be more of a longer term change?
I think it was kind of, I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I was praying about it and I realized that I'm going to be able to be in a chiropractic clinic for the next 50 years if I want to. But if I want to jump out of planes and shoot big guns and rockets and all that kind of fun stuff, those years were kind of ticking by. So that was the time to go do it, kind of my last chance to go do that.
Right.
So I did that, and what I realized was that God was calling me out there for more of a selfless reason than initially I thought, and the mission field out there was vast. People are curious in the military, so talking about the gospel to soldiers, right? When you're in some tough situations and all you have is the Bible that the military gives you, right, in basic training, people get bored, but they also get curious, and we talked a lot about the gospel and about Jesus, and it was a great time, and I learned a lot about how to share the gospel with people. And sharing that with some of the, like I said, the bigger, badder, and tougher people, kind of, it was a big moment for me to just progress through my faith, and now talking to people about it is a lot easier. So,
I bet.
Yeah.
When you were on base or when you were deployed, how often did those conversations come up, and were they pretty natural, or was it something that like you brought into conversation? I guess what's the evangelist?
There's a couple different
handbook.
ways.
Yeah.
I kind of got pegged as the the Christian guy in the platoon a little bit early on, and so they'd see me reading my Bible, and they were like, "Oh, don't do that around Tate because he's not going to like you," or whatever. So it was just a good opportunity to tell them, what I thought and what the Bible says, and share with them that we're all broken people and need Jesus. But and then that led to Bible studies and whatever else. But the cool ones were when we're in kind of a scary situation or like getting ready for a scarier, more serious situation, and people get a little emotional and they want to ask questions. Like this might be it, right? I need to ask you these questions. And so we would sit down and talk real quick while we had some time, and it was really special.
What were some of your go-to scriptures in those moments of being scared? My favorite,
it's hard to pick a favorite, but the one I always go to, I put on the back of my business cards from my office too, is Romans 1:16. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God at work saving all who believe. And it's just a gospel message right there, and it's an encouragement to people that I'm talking to or that have looked at the verse, but it's also an encouragement to me that I should be bold and take action wherever I can, and I shouldn't be ashamed of it. So
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. When was it time to be done with the Army and start to make your move back?
So we had our daughter Ruth while we were in Washington, and she's almost 2 now. She turns 2 actually in a couple weeks. But those deployments and the training and being gone from home, it's hard enough when you're married, but when you have kids, it is extremely hard. Just to have to FaceTime or whatever to just see your daughter. So I knew at that point that it was time to come home. Time to finish up my work there and to start working on our family and working on putting down roots here in Iowa. Yeah. So back into the full steam ahead chiropractic mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did your parents originally get into their chiropractic practice?
I think I've asked them a couple times, and they had maybe a chiropractor they went and saw when they were growing up as kids. And I know my dad wanted to go into pharmacy in college. But I think he realized the same thing I did, that if you want to help people and you want to be hands-on and you want to build relationships and get to know your patients, that being a chiropractor is a very rewarding but also an effective way to help people. And so they started that in, the 90s, and they started Altoona Family Chiropractic when I was just a kid. So I got to grow up and watch them build the practice, which was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. What did you learn from that, watching them build something from nothing? They
were always very creative, and they were always involved with the community. So growing up in the South Polk district, they would always do the parades and the Altoona Paloozas, and they'd even set up a pop-up tent with their table for the ragbri when it came through town, and they'd adjust the riders who just were tired and had some aches and pains. So seeing that in the early 2000s was kind of it was a cool moment for me to just watch them do that and just watch the creativity, I guess, and how they got involved with the community.
Are any of your other siblings in the chiropractic field?
No. My sister Carly does help at the front desk at my mom's clinic. So we get to work together, the 3 of us, which is fun. But they all have, my other siblings have their own professions and things they go after too.
Yeah. No, I actually graduated with Jace. You were younger brother.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I told them that I was going to have kind of an interview with you.
Yeah.
And they thought that was crazy. Just one of those small world moments,
Yeah.
Definitely cool.
How much older are you than Jace?
Jace was born in 2001, so he is 6 years younger than I am.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's about how far I am from my brother, but he's younger. Yeah, he just graduated high school.
Cool.
So
sweet.
Was Jace the youngest?
No, he's the middle. So Zoli, Zoli's born in 2006, so she is the youngest.
Gotcha.
Yep.
In your eyes, what makes Altoona Family Chiropractic stand out from other practices in the area?
So I think Altoona Family Chiropractic stands out from other clinics because we are very involved and very caring about our patients, and we have great relationships with them. Over time, it just seems like they become almost family. They come in and we spend half the time just talking about their weekends and their days and their kids and their plans, and it's just a lot of fun. It's almost like a little social club sometimes, and sometimes I forget, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be helping you today. Like we're not just here to talk and hang out. But it's a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing all the patients that I see all the time.
Yeah. What are some common issues that people come into the clinic with?
So the common ones, headaches. People have a lot of headache complaints they come in with. A lot of the blue collar guys can come in with extreme low back pain. So everything from like bulging discs, sciatic pain, like neuropathy, radiculopathy, shooting pains down the legs, things like that. And sometimes it takes them out of work completely. I've had some people in the recent history where they've come in and like, hey, I've missed work for multiple days, and I'm just looking for anything that'll help. And they're kind of panicking, and I love working with people like that because they're kind of on their last leg. They're looking for something that's going to help them so they can get back to work and provide for their families. And it is just so much fun to help them get back to where they want to be.
How do you approach building that trust and relationship with new customers, clients?
Yeah, definitely. So the toughest ones are people who come in and they're in a panic because they're in pain and they're just tired of being in pain. So usually I just look them in the eye and say, hey, you're not the first person here who's had this pain. I know it's really painful for you, and I know it's bothering you, and it's making it so you can't work, but I've helped people like you before. You're not the first one. Mm-hmm. And I just give them a little bit of confidence and assurance that this is going to be okay, right? Mm-hmm. And it might take some time. We're not going to fix you just in one adjustment, but just trust me, and we're going to get through this together, and it hopefully gives them a little bit of assurance, and I can see sometimes it calms them down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it helps quite a bit.
Yeah. What's been the toughest learning curve adjusting from, okay, so you went through college, you got your degree and all of that, your certifications, and then kind of jumped ship, went to the military. Mm-hmm. What's been that adjustment period like coming back?
Yeah, so out of school, we'll say when you're in school, everything is textbook examples, right? So it's just patient A has this, this, and this. What's the answer? And it's just kind of multiple choice at that point, or maybe a little more open question. But there's always a right answer, and there's always a script with that. Mm-hmm. And so when you go into the real world, it's not always just going to fit the textbook definitions. Right. So from school, that's the biggest thing that you have to keep in mind. But with the military, the other lesson I learned is the military it'll tell you where to be, what to wear, when you can leave, and so on and so on. Everything down to the detail is already set in place for you. You do what you're supposed to do. Right. When people leave the military, like myself, I have at least found that you're on your own, and that's a great thing. There's a lot of freedom with that, but you have to get out of the mindset of being told what to do, and you have to take all the action into your own hands, which is good, but a little bit of an adjustment there too.
Yeah, for sure. Especially as a business owner, not an employee.
Definitely as a business owner and working on your own. You don't have an employer who says, hey, show up at this time and you're getting paid this amount and blah, blah, blah. It's all up to you.
Right. Yeah. How did your time in the Army shape how you handle like pressure, stress, or setbacks?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. We could probably fill an entire podcast with military life lessons. There's a couple that stick with me. I have met some very, very scary people, and they've been right up in my face, and they've, that was their job, was to kind of stress me out, put me in a fight or flight state, and it works. And so it's kind of like the movie quote, I've been chewed out before, right? And so when I'm dealing with people and I just think, if I'm nervous, I've been chewed out before. I've been through some pretty intense face-to-face interactions, and there's no way it's going to be worse today than it has been before. So it helps me kind of just have some perspective and just calm down in the moment and take care of business.
Yeah. Do you have any personal philosophies or mantras that guide you in life?
My Bible is always what provides just like my work ethic and what drives me in my purpose. But I think Matthew 5 in the Beatitudes talks about you are the light of the world, right? And just to share that wherever you go. So my work ethic is just work as if you're working for the Lord. And I think you can do that in any profession, right? You could work anything and you just work at it as if you're working for the Lord, and share the gospel in any possible way you can. Mm-hmm. And it's not just in a certain mission field, it's every day-to-day life and people you interact with. So that's kind of what drives my day-to-day.
Yeah. What's your faith journey been like growing up and where you are now today?
Yeah, so grew up in the church. Parents, I can thank them for, making sure I'm in Sunday school and attending and all that. But I definitely made my faith my own when I got out of kind of the high school, college era, became kind of my own person and realized this is not just a program I'm supposed to subscribe to, need to make it my own. And so I did, and it's been great. But I've definitely grown every single year and in every chapter of life, stronger and stronger in my faith and just relying on Jesus on a more consistent basis. And the military definitely did that to me. Yeah. Sometimes all you had was your Bible and a flashlight in the woods and a sleeping bag. And it's like, wow, today kind of sucks. But you just pray and seek the Lord and it'll all be okay. Yeah.
What situation had you in the woods with just a flashlight and Bible?
Oh, man. Almost every couple of weeks, you're on some kind of training thing, and I forgot the machine gun. You always have a machine gun next to you, too.
Okay.
But, yeah, just kind of being in a patrol base, eating MREs, Ranger school, that's basically all you did was sit in the woods, eat MREs, and stay awake all night long. And I'd always pull my little chem light out, my little glow stick, or my little red light, and if I was awake, I'd read my Bible and I'd just stay awake that way. But yeah, not the best times, but makes for some good stories.
Yeah.
What's
one of your favorite or most memorable stories?
Oh man. So if anyone from my unit listens to this, will just kind of roll their eyes and laugh because everyone tells you stories. But so in the swamp phase of Ranger School, you spend, 10 days out in the swamps and in the woods and stuff. And at that point, people knew I was a chiropractor. And so we'd been out there for a long time. I adjusted a couple of people in the swamps. It gets interesting with the mud and the swampiness. But we got back to the barracks after this long 10-day thing. And we're all covered in face paint, and we hadn't showered for 10 days. But the first people that came in, they were asking for adjustments, like right away. And we hadn't slept for a long time. But so anyways, I just said, all right, let's do this. And so I'm adjusting people over and over and over again. And next thing you know, it's like 2 a.m. Everyone's already showered and gone to bed, and I'm still in the middle of the barracks floor with my red light, and I'm adjusting people. And I went to the bathroom to shower, and I realized I still have my camouflage and my face paint on and everything. But I was just happy to help them, and I'm glad they appreciated that too.
Yeah. What were some of the things that you adjusted in the Army that maybe you don't see in civilian life? Is there any differences or kind of some similarities?
That's a good question. So a lot of neck strain from just wearing rucksacks usually. So a lot of guys had really tight necks, and sometimes it can be hard to adjust. But yeah, a lot of cervical adjustments, a lot of migraines in the Army, but also just SI adjustments for the low back. And that's not atypical from what I see on a daily basis. Just the cause of those is a little different. A lot of adjustments given out day after an airborne jump or something. I'd have a lot of guys line up and want adjusted because man, I landed on that tarmac pretty hard. Yeah, that makes sense. You probably need adjusted. Let's take care of that for you. And I don't hear that very often in Altoona, but yeah.
Yeah. How do you adjust for a migraine?
Yeah, so neck adjustments, so cervical adjustments. Here's a little bit of chiropractic philosophy, but all the signals that come from the brain go through the spinal cord, and they exit the spinal cord through the nerve roots. And some of those actually travel back up, they loop through and back up to the brain. And so when you have migraines, when you have headaches, a lot of times what I'm looking for is the upper cervical to be out of alignment. So a subluxation, which is just a misalignment of the spinal bones. I'm looking for a C1, C2, and those affect those nerves that go right back up to the brain. And that's usually the first thing I'm doing, but there could be a whole host of other things going on too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back to when you were talking about your purpose. So like in those ups and downs of military service or business, college, life in general, how has your relationship with God shaped your perspective on purpose or perseverance or serving others?
Yeah. Another one of my favorite references from the Bible comes from the book of John. And it's Jesus saying, man has no greater love than this, than to lay down his life for his friends, which is what he did. So if you're following after Christ and you're trying to find his example, then laying your life down for your friends comes in many forms. It comes in the form of like military service, right? Those that have died in the past. But it also comes in the form of putting others before yourself. So being selfless. And I don't always do the best of that. I'm not perfect. I fall short of that all the time. But what I strive to do is put others before myself. So when I'm in the clinic, when I'm at home, ideally what I'm doing is I'm putting those people and their needs before my own. So as a chiropractor, it's what might be the financially most, the best answer for me isn't always the best answer for the patient. So realizing that and realizing, okay, I'm working for the Lord. What does this patient need from me? How do I show them love? How do I give them care? And how do I take care of them? Yeah. And it's kind of what drives what I do.
You've mentioned to me before that you've wanted to work with Sally's Polk athletes. What drives that passion? I
have been a Sally's Polk, I grew up in the Sally's Polk area. I played football on track and all that. And when I was in the games, I always appreciated the people on the sidelines who were there to help out. And when I got into chiropractic, I realized, man, it would be great if they had someone on the sidelines or someone before the game who could give them adjustments and help the athletes so they can function and perform at their highest levels. Mm-hmm. I've seen that with, like every NFL team has its own chiropractor on staff. Mm-hmm. I've worked with college athletes in the past. I've worked with, like I said, some of the biggest and baddest people in the U.S. military, and they have their own person on staff. Yeah. And I just thought, wow, Sally's Polk's doing really well. They've won some championships. They're a great team, and I think why not have a chiropractor on staff with them? Yeah.
And what's the big major difference between someone like you in chiropractics or like a physical trainer?
Sure, yeah. So the trainer is going to work more on strengthening the muscles, strengthening endurance, and just kind of rehabbing muscles that are injured. But where a chiropractor steps in and specializes is working on the misalignments of the spine. So the whole structure, the anatomy, the symmetry of the spine is what drives posture and strength. And when something's out of alignment, or as people say, out of whack, some of those elite athletes and elite soldiers will tell you like, hey, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure it's probably like L4. And I think it's right rotated. And sure enough, they know it because it's out. So they're just looking for that adjustment that helps them, push it to the limits every time. It's really cool when they can realize almost exactly what's going on with their body, and they know that a chiropractic adjustment's what they need.
What other community events or programs would you like to get involved with now that you're back?
Yeah. I would love to just get as rooted in the Sally's Polk community as possible, especially with Altoona Family Chiropractic. Just being from the area, always being an Altoona, Mitchellville kind of guy, I would love to work with the athletes, but I also would love to work with the teachers and the staff. Everyone needs chiropractic care, everyone from little babies, to preschool kids, to kids in elementary school, and up towards, teachers and those that are retired, and people in their 90s even. We have a lot of patients in their 90s, but I would just love to be the person they go to and they rely on and trust for their chiropractic care.
How much work do you do with babies, infants?
Quite a bit, actually. So when my daughter was born, I adjusted her the day she was born.
Wow.
Yeah. It kind of freaked out the staff that was there for the delivery, but I just told them, hey, I'm a chiropractor and I'm going to adjust my daughter, and they kind of just let me do my thing. But being born for a baby is a miracle, of course, but it's a lot of work, right? And it can be a little traumatic, especially when they're coming through and they're kind of getting twisted and stuff and pulled out. So I always check the neck of a newborn, and to make sure that there's not too much rotation and that the baby can turn their head left and right, up and down, make sure they have the range of motion they need. But the adjustments for babies are totally different than for an adult. I just put a little bit of pressure like that, and it's so springy that it goes right back where it's supposed to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. People are sometimes worried that I'm going to do like the whole cruncher thing with the baby. But I tell the parents, like, don't worry, this is way, way different.
Mm-hmm.
So much more gentle.
Yeah. How can you feel what needs adjusted?
Yeah. So I am using my hands, I'm using my fingers, to feel the spine. Mm-hmm. Now it doesn't just come overnight. When I was in school, it took practice and practice, and sometimes you'd have classmates who are like, do you feel this? Like, do you know what's going on? And sometimes you're just like, yeah, sure, of course I know what's going on. I know what I'm doing. But eventually, you start to realize, okay, this does make sense. And you kind of build the sensory for the spine.
Right.
And so I'm feeling for rotations and flexions, extensions, and so on.
Yeah. So how do you train that?
Yeah. So the cool trick that I learned, my dad told me this. He said, if you're having a hard time in school, he called me when I was in chiropractic school. He said, if you're having a hard time and you're frustrated, just take your Bible with the very thin pages and take a piece of hair and just work on feeling the hair underneath the page. He said, once you've mastered that, add another page and then keep going and feel it until you know it's there, and then keep adding pages and adding pages.
Holy cow. How many pages did you get up to?
Oh, man, I don't know. Maybe close to like 5 to 10 pages, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point I started thinking, I know what, I can feel it. But we'll say 5 to 10.
You start imagining.
Yeah. Not a whole book of the Bible, but
yeah.
Yeah.
What types of content or outreach have you seen work well with Altoona Family Chiropractic? Do you guys post at all?
Yeah. So my friends and family call me a boomer. They say that I have no idea I don't know what I'm doing at all. But I'm learning. And so we've started to do a couple of Facebook posts. We even got an Instagram account hooked up or something. So we do some fun videos, just things we think people might enjoy seeing. Some of it's informational, but a lot of it's just kind of goofy stuff because we're goofy people. We have fun. But yeah, we're still learning. A lot of what we do, a lot of the effective kind of marketing is just the face-to-face. So whenever I can get in and talk to people, one-on-one or just in a small group setting, I find that very effective, and it usually works for me. But besides that, it's just referrals. We have people who love coming in, and they've seen big changes. They love being adjusted, and they go tell their friends and family about it, and they might not have heard of chiropractic before, but they come in, and that's probably the second biggest means of getting people in is referrals.
Yeah. What's your guys' process look like for somebody walking in the door?
Sure, yeah. So in Des Moines at my mom's shop, at the body shop, we put them through kind of an evaluation. We do some range of motion, we do orthopedic tests, and then we take x-rays. We use the x-rays to see what's going on with the spine, look for variations and so on and so on. And then we have them come in and we kind of build a report for them. And we do a very similar thing in Altoona. We do the range of motion, we do orthopedic tests, and then we also put them through a series of nerve scans. So the nerve scans tell us what's going on with hotspots with the muscles, hotspots with the nerves that go to the organs, and then also just like your ability to go back and forth with stress and relaxation. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you take them through that assessment, diagnose the issue. Do you guys do x-rays?
No. In Altoona, we don't have x-rays right now, but we are talking about getting that back and running by the fall.
So what's that next step look like after that assessment?
Yeah, so once I've done the assessment, I always tell the patient, give me some time to look over everything. Let me build kind of an attack plan of how to help you start feeling better again. And so I build something for them that kind of fits their needs, fits their schedule, fits their finances, and kind of works towards getting them back on their feet as quickly as we can. Yeah. And then I show them kind of in a presentation what that would look like next time they come in, and then we just talk about it and go from there.
Where do you see yourself and the family practices in the future, in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah. I always joke that I'm going to take over my dad's business because we tease each other a lot. We're very competitive, but he says he's going to work till he's 85 years old. So we'll probably work together for the next decades. And I think we just want to our goal is to get as rooted in the Altoona community as possible. Just to build relationships with leaders in the community, with the school districts, with people in other small businesses, and and just to be the name they trust for their chiropractic care.
So tell me a little bit more about the chiropractic philosophy.
Yeah, sure. A lot of people think that chiropractic care was created to treat low back pain, which makes sense. A lot of people who come in do have low back pain. But we always have a little pop quiz and ask that question. And I just tell people, hey, that's true. But what chiropractic actually was brought up for was to help your overall health. And so what we're concerned with, or what I'm concerned with as a chiropractor, is your wellness and everything that goes on with your entire body. Not just your low back, not just your spine, but how are your organs functioning, how are your muscles functioning, and how does it all work together? So my job as a chiropractor, I always tell people, is pretty easy. From where I take it, I am just putting things back where they're supposed to be. The body was created to heal itself. God gave us a body that has a lot of awesome functions and intricate ways of doing that. And when everything's aligned, you have systems in place to heal yourself and to heal wounds and to take care of things, kind of like a systems check on a computer. Like, hey, we need more of this, we need more of that. Okay, let's take care of it. So my job, like I said, is super easy. I just put bones back where they're supposed to be, reducing interference that's going on with the nerves, and the nerves can then send signals to the whole body like it's supposed to, and take care of itself.
So how do muscles and organs relate to the adjustments that you're making?
Sure, yeah.
Explain that a little bit more.
So in like a 30-second neurology, right? We can do another one on neurology too, I guess, at some point. So the brain sends signals to the whole body. And so those are action nerves, right? And they send information. But the body also sends information back to the brain. Those are called afferent neurons. So they're the sensory ones. They're telling the brain, hey, this is what we have down here towards the legs, or this is what we have going on in the liver, and it sends it up to the brain. The brain makes decisions and sends information back to the organs and muscles and so on. And their kind of superhighway, the interstate system for those nerves, is the spinal cord. So when there's things going on that are causing interference, they're irritating, the spine, it puts pressure on, we'll call it like traffic jams almost, right, on the highway. And so those signals aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And those chiropractic adjustments make it so that those, we'll call them interstate systems again, for the nerves, can just go as fast as they can back up to the brain and back down from the brain. It's kind of what we do.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that's starting out in the chiropractic field?
Yeah. There's a couple things I'd tell them for advice. The first is just ask all the questions you can from your mentors, from if you're interning with a doctor, gain all the information you can, and don't take for granted the stuff you learned in school either. Sometimes you can get out of school a ways and just kind of throw the textbooks aside, but that information is there for a reason, and it's there for your resource, helping people feel better. So definitely stay engaged and always learn every day. The other thing I'd say is you got to grow some tough skin. You're going to come across people who think you're a witch doctor or doing voodoo or something, and just learn that people are not always going to say yes. A lot of people are going to tell you no.
Yeah.
So for every person who tells you yes, there might be like 4 or 5 that say no to you, or want nothing to do with you. And sometimes I can take that personally. Sometimes, I have someone come in and it seems like, man, I thought we hit it off, but I don't know what happened. And people just told me, my mentors told me, you just got to accept it sometimes. Not everyone's going to be your best friend, and just roll with the punches a little bit.
Right. Yeah. What about working for the family business?
Working with family, I'm sure can be interesting for different, everyone has a little different family dynamic, but just address things as they come up. Don't let things bottle up, right? Have some grace, forgiveness, if you want to live together and work together. Sometimes you can have a little tension, but it's awesome to work with family. It is really a blessing, and it's rewarding just to be able to hang out all day, every day, and kind of succeed together.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking back, what's one lesson you've learned that you wish you might have known sooner?
Patience. I'm a I don't know if it's the military or what, but I'm kind of just stuck in high gear all the time. And it's hard for me to sit down and just process things and just enjoy the moment. I'm always just trying to get up and go do something else. So sometimes I just have to learn to sit down and slow down a little bit.
How did the military teach you patience?
Oh boy. I think I learned patience dealing with just decision processes in the military. You're put in a situation where the things you are allowed to do or the things you are told to do might always line up with what you wish to do, right? So learning just to take a deep breath, realize I'm not in control of the situation, and just to find a way that kind of just works for both parties a little bit. Or just be okay with the fact that you're not in control all the time. No one likes to be out of control of situations or to have people tell them what to do. And so that was probably the toughest part about the military for me, was trying to be my own person and be independent when someone's telling me exactly what to do and not to do. So I can definitely appreciate that now, and I've learned from it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other major lessons have you learned through your career?
Yeah. Just that I've ran into so many really cool people, especially in the military. Some of the best people I've ever met were people I worked with, whether in the Ranger Regiment or somewhere else. And, like being arrogant, being egotistical, you think I'm pretty cool, right? I'm pretty good at what I do or whatever. And then you meet some other people from all across the country who are also there, and you're like, wow, that guy's bigger, faster, stronger, and smarter. And it's just really cool to see them all work together and serve their country. And they're just really, really great people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If a listener is thinking about a chiropractor but is hesitant, what would you want them to know?
Yeah. Stop watching the Instagram videos of the cracked things. I've had that a lot recently. People come in and they're like, is this going to be like the video I saw online? No, it's not. I don't have a microphone set up next to your neck or anything like that to listen to the adjustments. I only adjust what I need to adjust. It's very precise. It's very gentle. And there's a plan, right? It's very clinical. It's not for likes or anything. So whatever you see online, don't pay attention to that. It's not real. It's not chiropractic. It's just clickbait. And what I do has a purpose. I'll tell them that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if there's a listener that's looking to get some adjustments made, where can they find you? Where can they reach out?
Yeah. So best way is just to walk in the door at Altoona Chiropractic, or call the front desk. Kim and Joyce are always happy to talk to people. They're very friendly. But if you like social media more than I do, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. You can just look for Altoona Family Chiropractic. And if you're in the Des Moines area, the Body Shop in Des Moines also.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome.